What is up, guys? You guys are the JRayPics, and today on ReviewersRealm, this is episode 2, season 1, and today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be reviewing the first ever season of Chillin' Adventures of Sabrina. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is actually going to be a so there's going to be references. I'm going to be talking about the references about the Riverdale and Sabrina, because I'm currently trying to watch the series of Riverdale to be able to get caught up on that, and then I've already watched the whole entire series of Sabrina. I'm waiting for season 4 because there's no if they end it on season 3, I'm gonna tell you, I'll be sad, because the way they ended it was such a powerful thing that you know that they're going to make another season, and if they don't, they're going to make you curious, like, what the hell. But let's start on with the first season. So, like, there's the first episode, Sabrina is, you find out that Sabrina's a witch. She has to be able to choose, it's her birthday, and then you have to choose before, you have to choose before, she has to choose either, her friends, or the wizard world, or the witch world, I should say. And she basically thinks about it too much, where she's just like, fuck. And then throughout the whole entire episode, she basically comes along with Father Blackwood, which basically describes himself as the human servant for Satan himself. But then he goes and describes that, satanic religion is basically free will. And then later on in chapter 2, you find out that episode 2, chapter 2, I'm going to be calling it chapter 2, you find out that that's not the case. You find out that basically he lied and tried to get Sabrina to be able to sign the book of beasts. And it was just like, I was like, damn, Sabrina, because it's Halloween, blah blah blah. And then she basically, I think that's where I think it was episode 2, where because it's Halloween, she goes there, and then she basically tells the coven that she doesn't want to be a part of the thing. And then that's where they basically back off. And then the trial of Sabrina, it basically goes chapter 3 to trial of Sabrina. She basically gets captured in, and I think it was kind of cool. I was like, it's weird that the devil has a court of himself. Like it makes you wonder, in the series, does God have a court for some stuff, because they call it was so cool. It was so weird too, because they were calling each other unholies, and then they were calling each other undishonored, and I'm just like, huh? But she basically found a person who can help her out. I can't remember his name, but I do know that he basically is a human who was granted to be the best lawyer, blah blah blah. And then he basically found out by her father Edward, and then he basically helped her out through the whole entire court. And basically had her won. And then the court stands out that she would be, the only way she would not be terminated or basically trialed is that if she basically, sorry, I'm getting my remote. Oh shit. I'm getting my remote. But the only way for her to be able to not get trialed was that, basically destroyed by the the fire pit of hell, is that if she can spend half her life with the friends and half her life at the academy. So that's where she takes it up, and that's chapter 4, Witch Academy, which she takes a weekend trip, and she basically goes there, and then they basically it's kind of a little bit fucked up, because season 4, or episode 4, I mean, is where she basically learns the howling, I think it's what it's called, howling or whatever, where they basically get hurt, and then blah blah blah, where she basically gets howled 3 different times, I think it is. And then she finally basically steps up, and then for some weird reason, it was like she basically had ghosts around her. She basically took Prudence, and her 2 sisters, and basically rised her up with just her own words. And I was just like, that's freaky, whew. And then it gets interesting. She comes home, she goes in there, and then she finds out that, they basically she gets a chance to be able to go into her own time. And then what I mean by that is she wants to take up higher classes, and then Father Blackwood just basically suggests that she basically figures out a congregation or whatever the fuck it's called. I can't remember what the actual piece of it was called, but it's basically a puzzle that her father created, and then she looks up her father's journal, because Nick basically gives her her journal, which is Nick is another character that she finds and she basically starts hanging out with, and then she basically unlocks it. But when she unlocks it, she unlocks a demon, a sleep demon, and the whole entire episode, the sleep demon is just basically like I was just like, is this like Freddy Krueger like type of shit? Because she was basically nightmaring them, like it was real to them, it felt real to them, and then they just turned into a nightmare that they couldn't escape. You know, like Zelda basically was, her sister died. Helda basically was conjoined. She had a fear of being conjoined with her sister, and Sabrina was that she basically was being killed by Harvey and everyone in the town because she released that she was a witch. Her cousin, I forgot his name, basically is being killed by himself. But after that, they basically escape, put the demon back in the fucking thing, blah 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 blah, and then they basically perform an exorcism, because during the episode, we found out that, like, you know, basically that Susie basically has an uncle that is being possessed, and so they all basically try to go explore the caves, and then whenever they explore something, Sabrina basically, you know, she tries to figure out what the hell's going with Miss Wardwell, because she figures out before the episode on the sleep demon that Miss Wardwell is a witch, and then Miss Wardwell helps her to be able to do this exorcism because she wants to be able to help her friends. So she does that, and then in the meantime, you know, Father Blackwood's like, you know, witches aren't allowed to perform exorcisms because that's for the Catholic Church and that's for the other side to do. That's going against demons, and demons are on our team. Like, put two together, and then Sabrina's like, well, it's not really, you know, we're trying to just not trying to, you know, banish the demon because we don't like the demon, we just don't want him hurting the friends. And that's what she does. Helda, Wardwell, and Zelda basically go there. They do an exorcism on Susie's basically uncle, and then Feast of Feasts. Basically, chapter 7, Sabrina learns that the Coven has a weird fucking, you know, thing where they just, like, eat up all the fucking, the witch that basically is taken as queen, and then the Lucifer, the devil himself, basically gets to eat that feast, and then I'm just like, what? And then, shit starts to turn the fan. Sabrina goes pure dark, and kills one of, Prudence's sister. It's for revenge, because what had happened was shit had hit the fan. So Prudence's sisters went behind Prudence's back and basically did a performance to be able to make the mines basically just explode. And Harvey's brother basically was Tommy. He was in there and he got killed. And then Sabrina basically tries to do a transversion where Prudence's younger sister basically gets provided by the angel of death to be able to bring back Tommy. She fails, and that comes up to chapter 9, the returned man. And basically this thing basically happens where Harvey has to basically kill his brother, and it's just like it's a heartbreaking thing, and yeah. And that episode was just kind of fucked because they really didn't want to discuss about Harvey's brother, and then I think that was the episode where Sabrina actually reveals herself as actually no, the burial is when she basically reveals herself as a witch to her friends, and then chapter 9, the returned man, is like the backlash of that, where Harvey's not really talking to them, and then Witching Hour, which is chapter 10, episode 10 of season 1, is basically where the the witches basically get attacked by, by the witches of Greendale, and Sabrina basically all have to prepare for the original queens, or the original 13 witches plus the Red Angel of Death. I think that's what it was called, and the Red Horseman of Death. That's what he was called, and they basically have to prepare it because. Miss Wardwell basically summons them, and this is the only way for them to be able to get Sabrina. She was doing this to be able to get a mission, to be able to get Sabrina to be able to sign the Book of Beasts, which I think was actually pretty smart. And then Sabrina, the whole entire episode is just them being attacked. And then chapter 11 is where Sabrina basically, she basically makes more like she basically just like has more consequences because she does these different types of stuff, and it's kind of like a fucked up thing because Sabrina starts challenging Mr. Blackwood, and she starts challenging all these different types of people, and I'm just like, yikes, Sabrina, yikes, Sabrina, like, what are you doing, Sabrina, what are you doing? And then from there, like, Sabrina basically becomes dark because she finally signs the Book of the Beasts, and then season 2 is ready to be put await. But from the first episode, she was again signing the Book of Beasts all the way up to the last episode, because of everything that happened between. She had moral choices to be able to, her friends and the whole entire city of Greendale was gonna die. But that's the first whole entire season review on my take to it. You guys are the JRayPics. I'm JeremyrayRetherford. This is ReviewersRealm Season 1, Episode 2, and I will see you guys later. I'll salute you guys out. Have a round the day of dreams, and have a good day.